Hi everyone, it's Dexy from AutoCAD, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar, 10 Reasons Why Revit is Better than AutoCAD. So technical consultant Joseph will be presenting for us today. So before we start, we'll just go through about AutoCAD. We're all about fostering innovation through consulting and training. AutoCAD Technologies plays a vital role in helping infrastructure, building, mining, construction, architecture, and manufacturing industries reach their full potential by delivering complete technology solutions and support services such as education and consulting. We work with visionaries to shape the future of design and in turn enable them through innovation to minimize risks, improve productivity and achieve excellence. AutoCAD Technologies is considered the business partner of choice and trusted advisor by vendors and clients. We partner with major software and hardware vendors to meet clients' technology needs. We strive to exceed client expectations by pinpointing their challenges and delivering solutions through experience and innovation. We work with clients and companies of any size nationally and abroad. I'll just hand it over to you, Joseph.
Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Rocker. I've been in the industry for about 16 years. 12 of those years I've used Revit. Prior to that I was using AutoCAD and ArchiCAD. Most of my experience has been in the architectural building and design industry. I started off in civil, structural, mech and elect for GHD. And I've just jumped on board with A2K about 3 weeks ago. This is my 3rd week. And this is my first webinar, so hopefully all goes well. So 10 reasons, not all the reasons, but 10 of my reasons that I think Revit is better than AutoCAD. Some you might think, yeah, AutoCAD can do that, but it just does it differently. I think Revit just has a way of doing it more complex and having everything there ready for you and ready to go. So obviously AutoCAD is a 2D based CAD tool where Revit is 3D. So obviously the main benefit is you view all your information in a 3D model. So as you're drawing in 2D, everything is generating in 3D. All Revit objects are parametric and they work together. What I mean by this is if you draw a basic wall and then you place a door into the wall, Revit will automatically cut the opening for that wall, and it'll be visible in all your 3D views, your elevations, your sections. There's no extra work needed. It generates as you work. You can assign cut fill patterns. So when you cut a section, if you're representing a stud wall or plasterboard or MDF, all those cut fill patterns are already preset and ready to go. So when you cut a section or you're creating a detail, they represent how you would want them to represent in a detail or a section. A benefit of working in 3D, all your volume calculations are there. So if you're working out a room, the volume of a room, when you're drawing in 2D, it automatically knows the heights of that room up to the ceiling or whatever the extents are, and it calculates the volume for the room as well as the area. No duplicate information. So the benefit of Revit is there's a lot less repeating information. So you draw and plan and your elevations are being created. All your 3D views are being created as you go. Use data within the model to annotate objects on 2D. So in a standard bit of documents for a building, you'll repeat what kind of flooring there is, or on a detail what connecting detail you've created, or just simply what an element is. So a 90 by 45 MGP10 stud or something like that. And what you'll get is when multiple people are working on the same project, you'll find that that notation changes on an elevation or a plan or wherever it may be. So with Revit, you have a function called Keynoting, and basically you create one notation for what you need to get, what point you need to get across. It attaches to an element, and whenever you tag that element, it'll bring up whatever annotation you need for that element. Legends, so when you're creating legends on sheets, you can have the same legend on multiple sheets. If you change it on one sheet, it changes it on all the sheets. Repeating details, so if you've got corrugations or like stud work in a detail and you want to repeat the same 2D element, there is array functionality in Revit, but there are also repeating details. So if you want to put purlins in or something like that, you would give a center offset, and you draw a line, and it'll just draw all those details across that line and link them to the line. So it's a little bit different to an array function, but Revit also has that as well. Schedules, so as you model up each room, you're placing your walls, you're placing your doors, all these schedules are being generated, all the information for schedules are being generated in the background. And it makes it easy to create the schedule and then place it on the sheet. And to expand on that, schedules is a great advantage in Revit. So you can create door schedules, window schedules, wall schedules, and it'll automatically produce like quantities, dimensions, so height and width, hardware, so what kind of handles you've got, and all this information, once entered, it's there embedded into each element, each family. The construction, if there's any vision panels, what fire rating there is. And when you place that schedule on a sheet, like I said, it's already there. It represents how it needs to be represented. Then takeoffs, so material takeoffs, areas and quantities. So you can start putting paint finishes on certain walls, and say you've got paint finish 1 and you've used it on multiple walls. Revit will automatically calculate the areas of how many meter squares you've used of that paint finish for quantities. And if you've got a room schedule, you can generate how much area there, what area of each room there is. It's automatically done in the background, and it just allows you to place it very simplistically. Even drawing registers, as you create sheets, your drawing register is populated, and you can place it on your cover sheet, and you can see how many sheets are in the project, and you can filter so it doesn't show working or sketch sheets. You can just show your working drawings or town planning drawings. 3D visualization is obviously a big one, not only for marketing purposes, but also to get what you're building across, what you want to be built across. So your 3D model updates as you draw, as I've mentioned a few times. You can produce some great concept 3D views within Revit. So you can do like a semi-photorealistic render, or you can bring it back to like a sketchy line conceptual 3D render as well. And back to as a design tool. So when you're coordinating with clients and consultants, and you want to get your point across, the benefit of Revit is you've got your plan, elevation, and section generated automatically from whatever you drew in your 2D space in your floor plan. But you can quickly generate 3D views that really show what you're trying to create, and it makes it very, very easy for the joiner, in this case, the cabinet maker, to understand what you're trying to create, and all the information is there. Multiple 3D views can be generated if there's a request for further information. Design options is a pretty cool one. So you can work on alternate design options within the same file, so you don't have to create a different file or copy off the same floor plan just to show a different design option. So in this case, I did a quick example of changing the roof type on this project, and as default, the primary design option will be shown on all your plans. But if you want to create another view showing a second design option, then in your view options, you can say, instead of saying automatic and setting the primary, you can say, well, for this view, I want to show design option 2. So it'll show the second design option for the roof. And that's all embedded into the same file. There's no need to create a second file just to show a different design option. The benefit of this as well is when the client accepts a design option, you can just accept the change of which design option you would like, and it'll automatically remove that other design option, and it'll just work forward from there using that design option that was selected. Project templates. So every project you create, you can start building up a project template. So this will have within the RVT file, the Revit file, or the template file, that you'll have a bunch of view templates sheets, like A3 sheets, A1 sheets, families. So families in Revit is what blocks are in AutoCAD. So they're basically just blocks, like furniture, joinery items, anything like that. They're referred to as families in Revit. So you can have them all embedded into Revit. So all your doors, all your windows, and each door and window will have all the information necessary embedded into each family, whether it's fire rating for certain doors, what kind of frame certain doors have, if they have vision panels. All this library will be embedded into the file, ready to use on future and new projects. Even your line types, if you have custom line types that you use, you have different ways of showing a demolished line type or a hidden line type. All them are embedded into the project template as well. Schedule formats. So basically, however you want a door schedule to show is automatically placed already in the project. And as you place doors and windows, it automatically generates and is ready to use. There's no need to add parameters or remove parameters. It's the way that business wants their schedules to show on each sheet. Fill patterns. So you might want to show certain walls with a certain fill pattern, or you might have a different way you want to show MDF or plasterboard. They're all preset within the project template. So just your overall styling of your project is all embedded into the project template. View types and templates is a really beneficial one. So say you're setting up a general arrangement plan, you'll have a certain scale. There are certain things you want to show, certain things you don't want to show. They're all within the view template. So you can change what model elements you want turned on or off, what annotations, what view range, so where you want the view to show its height and depth, and also where the view cuts as well. All this can be preset for GAs, furniture plans, demolition plans, RCPs. So obviously an RCP looks totally is looking on a different view plane as a floor plan. The view template can be set up for that RCP, and that will look uniform across every level. They'll look exactly how they should look. Details and sections. So your detail sections will look different to your joinery detail sections. Although that, like maybe you don't want to show joinery items or casework items in a detail section, so you can turn them off in your detail section. And then every detail section you create after that will look exactly the same. There's no need to freeze or isolate objects in each view. Work sharing within Revit. So you can enable work sharing on a project, and that allows more than one staff member to work on the same file at the same time. So you could have someone working on a joinery package, or someone working on level 1, someone working on ground floor, and all this is made easy using work sets, so you can control user access of each design package, or where you want people, staff members, to focus. And this is made using the inbuilt collaboration system. So say you're working on a project and a wall has been deleted. So you, as the user, you delete the wall, even though the project you haven't saved and synchronized. Revit automatically gives you ownership of that wall. So if someone else tries to delete that same wall because they've seen the same marker, it won't allow them to delete it or alter it in any way. It will say so-and-so has ownership of that element. You can relinquish that. You can ask for permission to modify that element. So within Revit, it'll send notification to the other user, ask them if you can have that ownership, and they can either allow it or deny it. And this prevents anyone from doubling up on work or trying to delete something that's already been deleted, or just any overlapping of work. It restricts. And then within Revit, there's a work sharing monitor. This allows you to see who's working in the file, and shows you who's saving and synchronizing. Sometimes saving and synchronizing at the same time can cause issues. So it allows you to see who's synchronizing. If someone else is, you can wait for them to finish and then you can save and synchronize. So it's just basically a little service that shows what point everyone is at within the project, if they're working in the local file or the central. Generally, if you have a whole heap of people working on a file, they should only be working in their local file. So if you see someone working in a central file, you can message them and say, hey, you've opened the project wrong. You need to open your local file and save the central file. Collaboration and coordination. So you can work with consultants seamlessly when they're using the same platform. You can work within a 3D space together. So you can bring in mechanical, and in a 3D space you can see clashes a lot easier. It's just that, a lot more straightforward than trying to look at 2D drawings. And then yeah, so you can link in files so they can't be altered. So say you're linking in like external references in AutoCAD. So you can bring in a link and it comes in as like a block. It can't be modified unless you open that link and start playing around with it. But yeah, that you can really see clashes a lot easier with manual clash detection within Revit. And then on top of that, Revit becomes much more powerful when you start to add in plugins. So Dynamo is built into Revit. It has to be programmed, so it's not an automatic thing that you just start using. You've got to understand how the software works, and you have to create like parameters to allow you to produce automated tasks. So say you've got a bunch of car parks in a basement and you've numbered them, everything looks perfect, and then the design slightly changes and the car parks are out of whack and all the numbers have changed. Dynamo allows you to, once created, draw a line through all the car parks and run a script, and it allows it automatically renumbers all the car parks. And as I mentioned, that's built into Revit. Revit is available on Autodesk's App Store. There's multiple apps available on Autodesk App Store. Revit is a pretty cool one. There's automation that's pre-made, so even a pretty cool function on it is creating filled regions or hatch patterns. So you will draw the hatch pattern in a 2D drafting view, and it'll automatically generate a hatch pattern that you can use on different elements within the project, just by drawing it in a 2D space. RD8 software is a program that can be purchased, and it's basically already created Dynamo package. So it's automation, but it's pre-made. So there's no need to understand how to create the tasks. You just use the software as it's another package overlaid into Revit. And that's the 10 reasons. I'll give a quick live demonstration. Just basically how powerful Revit can be from a modeling based system. So it's not going to be very fancy. I'm just going to do a quick house, one that you would have created plenty of times as a child. So if we go and create a floor, you can see it's already starting to recognize what I'm creating in the 2D space and generating it in 3D. As I go through, you can see it changing. Then when I place walls, so we want to show pick a exterior finish face. So when I draw it, it's going to the external face. And you can see the 3D view generating as I go. We'll place a couple doors, not a door. And you can see that it automatically snaps into the center. This house is looking a bit big. And we can quickly, using the dimension tool. We'll center this door up again. Place a couple windows, automatically knows that that's the center. We can place a roof. It'll tell us that our walls are beyond the roof. If you want to attach it to the underside of the roof, when we attach, it'll automatically trim all the walls. And then say our ceiling height is like 4 meters. We want to change that to 2.7. Just allows us to work in the 3D space as well to get our roof down. And then even placing fascias and gutters is as easy as clicking on a pick point and then placing our gutters. Same thing. It automatically trims the corners off, makes it all nice and pretty. Then from there, as you can see, there's already these sections that have been created. So if we draw some internal walls, chuck a desk in there, and we go to this section, we can see that there's our desk. There are our walls that I just created, so we'll bring them back down to level 1. And your section's already generated, your elevations, and they can just be quickly placed onto a sheet. Can crop the view. There's too much information showing that we don't want to show. So just something really basic can be thrown together extremely quickly. And then even our little 3D view here, we can lock it. And that also can be placed onto a sheet. And I know this is really basic, it mightn't look very pretty, but luckily I can also show you a pre-made project in Revit that's already built. That looks a lot more prettier than what I just produced. You can quickly show it with some colors or whatever realistic finishes you have applied. Might chug along and start producing that, but there's concrete finish on there. You've got your roofing, glazing, and then your people and your plans start to look more realistic as well. So that's just a quick demo on how basic and advanced Revit can be. And now we can jump into some Q&A if everyone's happy with that. Does anyone have any questions? If you have any more webinars that you'd be interested in, head over to a2ktechnologies.com.au/events and you'll be able to see any new upcoming webinars. But apart from that, thanks for watching. If you need any more information or wanted to contact anyone within A2K, just email us at info@a2ktechnologies.com.au. Thanks, everyone. Oh, here we go. We've got some Q&A. So Revit is a bit different to Inventor. Inventor's more for like creating model elements, so like furniture and stuff like that. Revit's more based for using to create documentation. It's more of a tool used within the building and design industry for creating buildings and be able to document those buildings. It's the main software used from Autodesk for that use case. Inventor has a different use case. Required systems set up for Revit, you can check out on their website. There's minimum requirements and recommended requirements. But basically a new laptop from today with a modern processor will run it pretty easily. Inventor can be, because it's all within Autodesk, that can be exported. And another one is Fusion 360, where you can create model forms and create furniture and bring them into Revit. Most of your projects are in AutoCAD. I would always recommend jumping in, like trying to start off in Revit with one project. So if your whole office currently uses AutoCAD, obviously there's a lot more efficiencies within Revit, a lot that we've just covered. And there is a lot of companies that want to jump over to Revit, and the best way of doing that is having some training first, learning how the product works. So get your staff members trained, get a family template created, start playing around with it, and then have a test or trial project. Once everyone's comfortable enough to start using it, and then just, yeah, have a trial project. And if you're comfortable with it moving forward and you find that, obviously it's not going to be more efficient at the start, but eventually over time it'll become much more efficient than using AutoCAD. So you'll just start creating more projects. And also when hiring staff, if you've got staff that can use AutoCAD and Revit that are applying for the job, look at staff members that know how to use Revit and they can start projects on Revit. Yeah, it's actually pretty handy, James. How you can produce some realistic renders straight out of Revit. It's becoming a lot more powerful over time. Any questions like that using Revit with Plan 3D? I haven't used Plan 3D, but you can. I'm more than happy for you to jump on this email address, info@a2ktechnologies.com.au, and ask any questions like that. I can quickly show you. I think I have a project saved. Not electrical. I don't think. I think I've just. Yeah, I don't think I have an electrical project. I've got. Let me double check. I'm just opening it now. What kind of custom line types, like fences or with emblems? Michael, how do you compare Revit to LT to Revit full version? So obviously there's just, so everything that I presented today, that's all in the Revit full version. Revit LT has limited functionality. So obviously I would always recommend getting the full version. LT is generally used like if you're just wanting to view things and not get too complex with the way you document. So yeah, I would always recommend getting the full version over the LT. There are ways of doing it. The letters in line type. I'm not sure if you can export them from AutoCAD into Revit, but again, you can shoot that question to info@a2ktechnologies.com.au and we'll be able to answer it. I know you can create custom line types like that, but I'm not sure if you can export them from AutoCAD. And sorry, I don't have an electrical project handy, but same thing, I can chase it up. If you send an email, I can chase it up and we can organize a quick demonstration on that at a later stage. And there's some questions in here, I'll just check. Working share, is that work share monitor? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Or do you just mean like collaborating on a file? Dynamo, you can get like pre-made scripts that you can bring into Dynamo. They're not hugely available, but I'm sure if you dig deep, you can find some on the net. Otherwise, you might have a Dynamo specialist that you have working in your firm that can create them pretty easily. Can we collaborate on a file saved in Google Drive? I don't think you can, but is there a way to save a file on its old version of Revit? No, you can't. That's one of the panes of Revit. Once it's upgraded, you can't roll back. So it's always important when you're saving up to always save a copy off. Does the company not have their own server that you can work off? Does everyone use Google Drive? Maybe it could be done, but it'd probably be clunky. I'm not sure how Revit would like that. And again, I'm not 100% sure, so just shoot an email off K2K Technologies. Is that it for everyone? All good. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.